Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael, and you're watching GEEKCASTER. And today we've got...
HJB right here. That's right.
You going by initials now?
That's right. I'm not playing no superhero today. Just good old HJB. No double shot, no Blue Jay, no Mega Man, no Grape. Just me.
What's that shirt? What you got going on?
Oh my gosh, what is this? Is this what I think it is?
It's the show! Dun, 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 dun.
That's right.
So, we've been talking about a lot of things going on, like in real time, right?
That's right.
Talking about all the different movies, the animations, the action films.
That's right.
I want to go back into time because people are using the concept, using the words, nerd, this, and that. But there's so many films that have nothing to do with superheroes, nothing to do with lasers or Marvel or DC, just good old-fashioned comedy. So I want to talk about nerd comedic films.
And which one do you want to start off with?
Well, before I start with that, I think we need to talk about a very important topic, and then we can get into that.
Okay.
Which is Movie Pass.
Yes.
Now, you're telling me I'm too late. I missed the bus.
Yeah, you're kind of late because now Movie Pass, they won't let you buy like the opening weekend movies, the blockbuster movie weekends. They don't have it available on their app because it's a lot of money coming out of their pocket. What many Movie Pass members don't know is that they're putting in a lot of money to have you guys be able to buy these big time movies for a low price.
Wow.
So now it's catching up to them. And they had to take out a loan to another fellow business that pretty much said, hey, you guys gonna have to like change it up a bit or else, you gotta keep owing us money. So now Movie Pass, they're gonna try doing this for a while, for a few weekends to see how it is. But eventually they're gonna have to like start doing what Fandango's doing, what these other companies are doing, and only offer certain deals at a certain amount of time. That's why I got AMC and that's why I got Regal. Because I called this from the beginning. I told you that too. I'm like, they're not gonna be able to let these guys pay $6 a month, whatever it is, to watch all these movies. And it's only at selected theaters anyway, it's not even near where I live.
Wait, because I got super excited with it because they said, look, like $6, $8. You literally could watch a movie every day for a whole month.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not happening anymore.
No, it's going to lead to that. Right now, you still can. I mean, only the opening weekends they're doing, but I feel like it's going to lead towards where it's only certain weeks that you can watch it, at unlimited movies throughout the week.
Wow. I don't know, man. So now is the time. So you heard it here first, folks.
And I actually, did I write an article about it? Oh, no, I didn't. I was going to, but I didn't have time to. But you can still check out the other articles that I wrote today on our website.
Okay, I'm going to name a movie that is a nerd classic. Whether people call it a nerd classic or not, I'm saying it's a nerd classic. And you're going to tell me what you think about that.
Okay.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Bueller.
Bueller.
I think that was a classic movie. Ben Stein, man. Like, his mild tone demeanor was so funny. And I thought that was like the best part of the film. Just seeing him like without the care of the world, with everything that's going around him, and he's just like, okay, well, that shit's happening. And Matthew Broderick, man, like he just brought that whole Broadway aspect of his acting with him into the film. I had the biggest crush on what's her name. It's gonna hit me too, Mia, the female interest in the movie.
Oh, you know who she married?
Who?
You'll never guess.
Mia Sara, that's her name.
Yeah, she married Brian Henson.
What?
Yeah, Jim Henson's son.
Yeah. She wanted to get her Kermit the Frog on.
Okay, so how's this one? Spaceballs.
Oh man, Spaceballs was another good one. Um, what's his name? Uh, Rick Moranis, rest in peace.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He is such a character, man. him playing little Darth Vader. Like,
Yeah, that was amazing.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that was good. And you know what? That was interesting about that one. It made fun of the franchise Star Wars. That's what it's called, Spaceballs.
Right.
It it almost made fun of the fandom too, but in a clever way.
Yeah.
Because in a way, Star Wars can perceivably be silly. Now, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I think it's amazing. But I could understand how people could be like, "This is, you know."
Yeah, it's so cool how like imitation is a serious form of flattery. It really is, and obviously there's certain parts in films where you just like say to yourself, "Can that really happen?" And how the heck are they gonna get away with it? So when someone comes along and does a spoof and does it really well, it's top notch. Like Spaceballs was up there. Colonel Sanders was funny too. Are you playing with your dolls again?
Now, here's a classic. Got to go really far back on that. Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh my goodness. I be honest, I don't remember that movie that well. What's his name was in that movie? The son of the kung fu artist, Robert Carradine. He was one of the nerds. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's one that you know very well. Let's see here. Trying to find a photo for this one. Napoleon Dynamite.
If you vote for me, I'll make all your dreams come true. Pedro, I love these so much.
Why did that move? It was so Napoleon Dynamite was so off, but yet so on.
Right.
And there was no part two, and there was no huge spoof on that either. There were one or two films that kind of threw a character in there, but it was such a cult classic that you figured more people would have thrown it in the mix of their comedy. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would have ruined the mystique because it was so original for its time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look back at that, then you start thinking about shows later, like The Office and Parks and Recreation with the dry humor.
Right.
That when Napoleon Dynamite came out, I don't really think on the top of my head that there were like movies like that, you know, that kind of that had mixed that dry humor with the little bit of silliness, you know, where I think during that time American Pie movies were out, but it was just all flat out just toilet humor, you know?
Right.
Napoleon
right.
Dynamite kind of had a little bit in between and was able to just find like a little genre of comedy of their own. And I think that's what separates that movie from the other ones. And I think that's why a lot of people didn't really do spoofs about it because it was just so good that, you know, you just wanted to leave it alone.
Right. I could see that. Now, we always love our straight man and our comedic character. You know, that dynamic duo has been a classic in comedy routines probably since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
Superbad. What do you think of that?
Oh, man, Jonah Hill. He's like one of the most underrated actors out there. And I truly mean that because when you look at him in Superbad, you don't truly appreciate his skills because he kind of was the funny guy, but at certain points he was like the straight guy too.
Right.
Michael Cera, he always plays the straight guy. That's just his MO.
Right.
But if you look toward the end of the movie, it kind of got a little serious. You know, it started breaking down to where Jonah Hill's character was, hey, look, man, you guys got a future. I don't have anything else to focus on, you know, and this is all I have. And he was trying to show his friends that. And That's what I really appreciate Superbad for, because it was a hella funny movie, but it was showing you a lesson. You know, like you can really relate to it as a young adolescent.
And you know what? I would like to say that every Three Stooges movie, every Three Stooges movie could definitely be considered a classic and a great nerd, geek, whatever you want to call it, film, because they are the ultimate outsiders.
Well, definitely the comedic timing in all those films was spot on, you know? Just them doing the crazy, you know, gouging of the eyes and pulling on the shirts. The little things matter, you know? Once the comedic time is down, it doesn't have to be like the funniest thing in the world, but if you're able to do it spot on, it's hilarious. And their timing was better than anybody else during their time.
You know what? Before we even continue, would that be a recipe for a good geek or a good nerd film where you just have this outsider, this misfit triumph, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Would that be it? And do you need to have triumph in there or no? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because there's also defeat and victory. And what I mean by that is you can always learn lessons from your failures, and that in itself is a victory. So, for example, there's a movie that came out recently by the creator of Portlandia called Staten Island Summer. And it was about this kid who was trying to get laid before the summer was out. I mean, we've all heard that before.
Right.
But it was more realistic because, you know, it was taking place in suburbia Staten Island. And it's about a kid and his friend who worked at the Staten Island pool every summer since they were little kids. And one was going up. He just graduated out of high school, valedictorian of his class, if I'm not mistaken. And his other friend, he graduated too, but with the lowest grades and really didn't have a future. And the kid who had all the accolades, the high grades, he was the one that was trying to get laid before the summer was out, before he went to college away, but he didn't get laid. But he learned how to be a gentleman through that whole process and became friends with that girl that he was trying to get laid with. So he didn't get the girl necessarily, but he learned a lot of things through that whole process.
I think it's really interesting when you have these films with individuals that are supposed to lose. Nobody really likes them. They're not the best looking. They might not even be the most intelligent. But then putting them in the hero seat seems to consistently work for fans. One of those movies would be Ghostbusters. Now, according to classic nerd perception, they were highly intelligent, but in every other aspect of life, they just were the worst.
Yeah, they didn't really belong, quote unquote, to today's society, or didn't fit in. They were misfits. But it is something that everybody can learn from, because we all have something that we can benefit in today's society. We all have like these special gifts. And that's what I like about the Ghostbusters film. You can be your own hero in whatever you want to do. And I think that's the reason why these movies are made like that, because it's really to show you, you know what, you may think that you're not as good as everybody else, but you can stand up and rise above the hate, rise above, oh, well, you can't do this or you can't do that. You know, like, first of all, it takes inside yourself to even find the confidence to be able to rise to the person that you know you can be. And I love these films because of that. You know, they're made for just to make us laugh, but they're also made to make us feel confident and to feel, let me say that again, to bring up our self-esteem.
I love the fact with Austin Powers that you have a character that thinks he's cooler.
Right, exactly. He really isn't.
But it works. You know,
But that goes back to the self-esteem. Like
Right.
he knows that he has it. You know, he has
Right.
all that self-confidence.
right. And also, it pokes fun of the fact that what really is cool, because when he was Austin Powers, when he had his time in the 60s, I believe it was, he was cool. He had bad teeth. He was totally not politically correct at all. And then you put him in today, he's like a loser.
Yeah, he totally does not get with the time. You know, remember that scene where he lost his mojo? And
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that was great. I find it fascinating because what really is cool, if you go back in time and look at the women and men, they had this, women had to be this and men had to be that. And now those same individuals would not be perceived as the most attractive today.
Right.
It just wouldn't fit. So I'm really thankful for that film. Really, Three Amigos. That's another one.
Oh,
where-
Steve Martin.
Yeah. Here are three guys that are basically just film actors, and they're cool as can be on film, but in reality, not so much.
Right.
Not brave at all. Again, making fun of, the glitz and glamour of film, I think, and society, which I think is really cool. Let's see, what else we got here? Now, would you consider Harold and Kumar going to White Castle? Would that be a nerd film?
I don't know, because technically both of them were. They both had decent job. Well, actually, that doesn't really matter. But I guess you could say that was a nerd film. I will put that in there, because it still had the underdog feel, where they was so desperately trying to get to White Castle because they had the munchies. I mean, some of us nerds understand that. So I would put that in there. John Cho, he's a geek hero, being part of the whole American Pie franchise himself. The MILF man, I call him.
Right, that is true. I can't find a picture of it, really. Well, I guess here's the logo. We could do this. Weird Science.
Oh.
Which broke a lot of barriers and I think really helped to open up the nerd genre.
Right.
Between Weird Science and Revenge of the Nerds really opened it up.
Chet Donnelly was an awesome character in that film. Like, one of the lines he said, "You stupid buttwad." I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
Oh, man. There are a lot of great lines in that. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pull up a whole sheet of pictures on that. I know you can't see it at this point, but I mean, having these guys wearing underwear on their heads,
yes.
wearing the bras on their heads, getting high for the first time, getting drunk for the first time, really that transition between boyhood to manhood.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And then sticking up for yourself. And the actress, Edie Brickell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was Lisa, right?
Lisa, yeah. Yep. Enough said.
I can, here's what she said in the film. That was awesome. There's going to be sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Chips, dips, chains, whips. Your basic high school orgy type of thing. I mean, I'm not talking candle wax on the nipples or... Oh, wait, can I say that?
No, but you go.
Or witchcraft or anything like that. No. Just a couple of 100 kids running around in their underwear acting like complete animals.
That was a great line. And you know what's interesting? That's the perception of youth at the
Yeah,
time, but also it's the weird perception that everybody wanted to hold on to say this is what high school should be like. You know, that this is what high school parties should be like. But the reality is, how many high school parties were ever like that?
yeah, like none. None. And then the realization was, I mean, for me anyway, high school parties, they lasted for 30 minutes, and then one person would say, hey, who wants to continue this to our house? And then that was it.
And then that was it. But that was a great movie. You know, they did a reboot
I did not know that.
for Weird Science. It's actually a series. All I gotta say is not so much. Yeah, it's not so much. But they tried. They tried. But the times are different. I mean, I think it's really difficult to take an 80s film and make it hot today. The environment's different. The politics is different. Everything is
Yeah, it's just the different time, If they did a good job relating, I mean, I didn't see the movie, but if they probably have done a good job relating the movie to today's time, it probably would have been better, obviously.
right.
Um,
Let me see. Do you think there's any movies in your arsenal that you love that should be remade and think could really be well remade today?
Now, are we talking about teen film, nerd films, or just in general?
Nerd films.
Okay. That's a good question.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Road Trip.
Interesting. Why Road Trip?
I think it'll be interesting to see how that movie would pertain today. With the whole college landscape changing and just different ways of traveling. I think it'll be interesting. And I always pictured more of a diverse group, and the remake as well. And just to see like more of like different cultures, different backgrounds of how people would react in certain situations on the road.
Right.
Like in the first one, they went to Tom Green's parents' house, and you kind of saw like a little bit of his background, like how they lived. I would like to see more of that where they had different. I am stumbling today, geez. Where they had different situations where they had to go to each person's house along the way.
You know what? Even though you mentioned that, and I'm thinking in reference to Road Trip, I don't know why in my brain, but the really bad video game movies, we have to do a whole show on that.
Oh man, Doom was so bad. Rock, if you're listening, that was the first one that popped up when you just said that. That movie needs to go from my memory. We need to do Mario Brothers over again. That was horrific.
That was just terrible.
Oh man, that's another episode. You're right, because I'm about to go on a tangent with that.
And by the way, it's really late at night tonight.
Yeah.
So our mouths and brains are probably just shutting down.
Yeah, pretty much.
But not enough to say that Super Mario Brothers was really bad.
Yeah, that just re-energized me. Oh my goodness, that movie was so bad. I don't know what was up with the ooze and like the turtles were all, they needed to like go on a diet. I don't know, it was just so bad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think they learned their lesson with certain films. You just can't cut corners. If you don't have the budget,
just don't do it.
Yeah, let it go.
Be like Frozen, let it go.
They can't even do that. Didn't they give them a Broadway?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And the sequel's coming out next year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they need to let that go too.
Let it rest.
Yes, let it rest.
Let it rest. Let's see. Yeah, I think we hit all the hitters.
I think we did.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else within that nerd film.
16 Candles. Oh, that's not really a nerd film.
No, but you know what? Now that you mentioned that, if you noticed, all those movies had a very strong nerd character.
Right.
They all did. In fact, 16 Candles had more than one. Because the exchange student,
Oh, that's right.
he was very much a nerd. He was a dweeb, actually.
He was the king of all nerds. Yeah, he was nerd times two.
You know. Actually, I'll punch this up, even though I'm really focused on the Christopher Reeve picture there. But Superman,
Yeah, Superman himself is a nerd.
he was. And the interesting thing about him, because he played a nerd, because he really viewed, actually he played a dweeb. He really viewed humans as nerds and dweebs, which is very interesting. So that's the role that he played to blend in.
Yeah, especially since he was working for a newspaper,
Right.
the Daily Bugle. He figured, is it Daily Bugle? Wow, see, it's really late. I don't even remember. Oh my goodness.
Well, at that point,
Yeah,
we're shutting down. So, it's late, folks. Even though you're watching this, and it will not be late.
pretty much, that's right.
2 p.m. time slot on cable. Woohoo! So, that's in Long Island. If you're in the city, in the 5 boroughs, 4 p.m. Not as bad. So,
Oh, yes. So, like, if you guys want to see me, I'll be at the Kew Gardens Film Festival this Saturday at Midway in Forest Hills.
cool. And what's your social media?
Blue Jay HJB all around Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Yeah.
And all that stuff.
All that stuff.
And hey, check us out, man. GeekCaster.com, or you could go to SCVnetwork.com. Either way, you want to click on GeekCaster and check out the shows. And we've got wonderful articles by Mr. Harry Bailey.
That's right. Check them out.
So
Talking to you.
get your health on, get your food casting on, get your geek casting on SCV Network. My IG is Michael7Michael. That's Michael, the number 7, and Michael. You're watching GeekCaster. Thank you so much, and we will have this experience again next time. Thank you.